Okay, welcome everybody. We're on Daf Yudal and Aleph, and in the middle of the sugya, Mamash Lashtan. Mamash Lashtan means so we saw that the giver, the receiver, the recipient, and one in the middle is one who has the money or object. More spoke about milva pikodon. It seems that we pass even by milva also. If the malva tells the lova in the presence of the recipient, give it to him, so it automatically transfers domain and it belongs to the recipient. And the Gemara wanted to know how does it work, and the Gemara came out Azal said that's the way it should work, and Rashi explains Hefker versus Hefker. Tosis says that the reason they did it, that it should be easier to make kinyan, to make transfers. So they invented a new, call it a kinyan, Mamad Shloshtan. The Gemara continues. Amalei Rav Acha Bardala. Rav said to Rav Acha Bardala, Kabbalah Marika Isli Gabach, Yahweh Leplone, maybe a little bit parentheses over here. Kabbalah Isli Gabach, Yahweh Leplone. I have a kav of Marika. Marika, I think they say saffron, usually karka. What do they translate it? I think so. So I have, a kav is the volume of 24 eggs. He had a package of that you have by me. It means it's a pikot, it's not a milva. There's some kind of an object, some kind of a spice, right? I have by you. So give it to Ploni. I said to you, I've just said this to you in his presence, means all three of them were there. Rav and Rav Acha Bardala, who's the nifkad, the custodian, and also the person that Rav wanted to give it to. The lo hadarna, I'm not going to retract. So that's the question what these words mean. So the Gemara understands, Rashi says the Gemara understands right now that it means I'm telling you in his face, I'm telling you in his presence that I'm not going to retract. Again, Rav had a pikadon by Rav Acha Bardala. It happened to be a kav marika, whatever it was. Rav had a pikadon by Rav Acha Bardala, and he said in the presence of a third party, give it to him, which is Mamash Lashkan. And he said, I'm saying it in his presence, the lo hadarna. So the Rashi says the one thing at this point that I mean these words. That's going to be the subject here. What do these words mean? The Gemara thinks that it means I'm telling you in his face, in his presence, that I'm not going to retract. And
you have to say that.
No, I made a mistake. That's my right. Mistake. I didn't do this right. The law be okay. That's what Rav said.
No, but he didn't have to say that.
Oh, so Moshe's asking. They didn't have to say that. And it sounds like I'm promising that I'm not promising it worked. He already owns it.
And maybe then it means the loyajan that I shouldn't be able to.
So that's what the Gemara is going to talk about. So Machal Boy Hadabe, Matzi Hadabe, doesn't make sense. This is Moshe's kasha. It sounds like if I would want to, I could retract. Just I'm telling you, I promise you, I'm not going to. It doesn't make sense because Mamash Lashtan automatically transfers it. So the Gemara answers the Avrahom's answer. That it can't retract. Since it's Mamash Lashtan, I can't retract. So we're making a deal now that I can't retract from, because right now, Mamash Lashtan, I say that give it to him, it automatically transfers and I can't be chosen. But the Gemara says, Rav wouldn't have had to be so elaborate. The Rav said this, even though this was a regular story, this wasn't in the Bismedrash, this was in the street that he said it. So maybe he would have said it, we would have said, no, so Rav said over again, the dinner Mamash Lashtan, but the mother thinks that Rav doesn't talk stam. And if Rav said that I can't be poisoned anymore, so it must be a chiddush. And the kasha is, we know it already. And the Rav said this, Allah that Mamash Lashtan is karna. That if this case we said even by Alva, this is a pikadon, and give it to Ploni, if it's Mamash Lashtan is karna. So why did Rav have to say again that I'm telling you in front of him, and now I can't be choizer anymore? We know that they're Mamash Lashtan, so why did Rav have to repeat it? The Gemara answers, this was a small thing. Kabbalah Marika is a small thing. It's not a big thing. You might have thought that the din that you have to have the fun of is only when it's a big item that is giving over. Then you have to have in the presence of all three. But maybe if it wouldn't be a small thing, maybe the Chazal would have invented this kinyan, even if it would not be in the presence of the third party. even if he just tells the Lova, the Malva tells the Lova, give it to Ploni, it might be Kona automatically even without his presence. Kamash Malan, that even by a small present also it only works if longer than our presence. That's why Rav said, I'm doing it in his presence in order that I shouldn't be able to be Choseh. If it wouldn't have been in his presence, I would have been able to be Choseh. So it comes out that this Gemara is saying that Afilu Motan Moetes, even a small present also, it doesn't transfer only if you have Mamash Lashtan. All three of them have to be there.
I was told saffron is a very expensive item, very.
But it sounds not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not what I think it is. Anybody have a translation?
Saffron is a very
Expensive.
sought after.
what?
Saffron. It's like.
What do they translate? Cover the Karpon?
It's the rich man's.
Cover the Marika.
24 egg is a large. If it is valuable, then it's a lot of money. But, okay.
Which word?
Bardala.
Marika.
Kaba.
Marika.
Marika. Kaba.
The seventh line, tenth line from Yudal. Yudal. Amen.
A cup of saffron.
Okay. So how expensive is saffron? This is what the Gemara says. Even with 10 muetas, you have to have mamash loshtan. It does work. It works. It works. We came out even by a milva. Here's a pikodon, and even a small amount also. You have to have the mamash loshtan. It works, and you have to have mamash loshtan.
All three have to be there. That's
Right. If all three are there,
is that what Rob is saying? Is that even if it's a big thing, then three don't have to be there. Mine have to be there.
then surely you have to be there. Even a small thing, even a small present also, it only works if all three are there.
Okay.
New Gemara, David. They were gardeners that made a cheshbon amongst themselves. They earned money, whatever it was, and there was an amount of money, and they divided it, and there was a little bit extra. Came out in the cheshbon that one of them had an extra 5 zuz. Seller is to be a seller. They had one of them had extra money, and they, instead of dividing it more, they had extra money, and they decided that unless they are just guessing that it wasn't enough to divide equally, wouldn't have been an easy division. They had
Like 17, and so each one gets 5.
and then they had some
Two
extra,
left over.
something like that. So it says there were 5 left, whatever the case would have been.
5 left over.
There were 7 gardeners, and they had 5 left over. It's not going to be complicated to divide it. So on relay, they said to the one who had the extra money, Havinu, we have Yahavinu, but there might be a Gersa Havinu. Take out the Yud. Does anybody see what this aleph is? What is this aleph referring to?
Well, they had 5.
It's not working again. It's just if anybody could okay.
Rabbi Hadinai or Malay. One of them said,
1 second. You could try. I don't know what to say.
I have my new computer tomorrow to the one. I'll bring
Okay, this is Aleph over here. Let's like to see what this Aleph is. Some gears to change. Oh, they very nice. They change it to Havinu. So take out this first Yud. That's a nice gear to change.
Which did?
The first one on the line. Okay. So Havinu Nehele, Memore Ara. They put in the word here, Bataska, Ba'ape More Ara.
What's Bataska?
Give it to him, to the owner of the land. The Taska, the Bach puts in the word Taska means for tax. And they said all this in the presence of the landowner. So what do you have here? You have all the Citrin, all these gardeners. One of them has the money that belongs to everybody. And they said in the presence of the landowner, give it to him for the tax purposes, whatever they owed him. They owed him some money. They can owe him money for taxes. So they had extra money. So they told one of them, the one who had the extra money, give it to him. So that's sounds like a mamash loshtan. It sounds like mamash loshtan that they have the money. And it's by him. And they said, give it to the third party, and he's right there.
I
And
see.
also Konamine. And also besides that, Mamash Lashtan, they also made a kinyan. They actually made a kinyan that that the money that he has, the extra money that he has, should belong to the owner of the field, of the field.
But here the middleman is one of the guys.
Right, so part of it belongs to him also. But let's say the money that belonged to them is Osholi Mamash Lashtan.
Uh-huh.
The self was a love of Chushbuna Bein Dilei Nafshei, the Pashka Bevel Midi. Then he went home. He went and he made a calculation again, and he saw that he didn't have any extra money. And they made a calculation when they divided it, so it came out that he had an extra $5. Then he came home and he saw that there was a mistake. They didn't have any extra money. So he wanted to know that since he made a mamash lush, maybe 5 zuzi, five seller.
He gave 5 sell to the
He didn't
other
give it
man.
to him. He didn't give it to him.
I thought all 3 were there.
So he made a mamash lush. All 3 were there. All 3 were there. Doesn't mean that he gave it to him. They said, give it to him. And then the landowner had to run off because he had an emergency.
And now he goes and he sees there isn't.
There's no extra money. I have no extra money. Why should I? What? But they made a kinyan that 5 citizens of mine.
Is for
I
the
made a
taxes.
mamash lush done, and that is so maybe it goes to the landowner. But so yeah, also the kamedu of
So they wanted to.
So the question was,
retract-
does he?
They wanted to retract.
Yeah, he wanted to retract. I don't know, man. I don't have any money that I gave him. I only made this whole mamash lush done because I thought I had extra money. I have no extra money. But maybe there's 5 zuz that I made a kinyan kilo that the mamash lush done and the kinyan made that
It's a
5
good
zuz of mine
kinyan.
goes to them.
Uh-huh.
Goes to him. So I came to Rav Nachman. Amalei, so Rav Nachman said, what can I do? He's really he's konet. The landowner gets it. My Abdullah, what can I do for you? First of all, Afunam Rav famous halacha about mamash lushdan. So he had a mamash lushdan over there, so it transfers automatically to the landowner. But then second of all, economy enough. They made a kinyan that you have to give the money, a special kinyan. Besides mamash lushdan, they actually made a kinyan that the money should belong to the landowner. So you have to give it to him. Amalei Rabba said to Rav Nachman, Atu hai mikama lo yavina. Did this person say, I don't want to give it? The lucky gaboy kama, he's saying, I don't have it. It means he made a kinyan on something that doesn't exist. He made a mamash lushdan on something that doesn't exist. Amalei, I'm kinyan betozu. So then it was the whole thing was a mistake. Well, kinyan betos choser. So then it's nothing.
Let's say I think I have $1,000 in the bank, so I decide I want to give someone a present for 100.
But
And I find out I only have $200 in the bank.
Right. So I don't think that's the case. I don't know the lachot. That's not the case here. Here the case was that you had $1,000 in the bank and he said, I'm giving you $1,000. And then you see there's nothing in the bank.
Oh, that's for sure.
Okay, that's the case.
over here. What's that?
They thought that he had $5 extra.
I didn't have any
and
extra.
there's no $5 extra.
So that's partial. Then what's the chiddush? There was nothing there. You gave him the Brooklyn Bridge.
Maybe $5 of his. He had each one got $100. And then he had everyone had 100. They had 4 Citrin over there. They have $405. So they divided the 400 and then $5 extra. So they said that $5, we're not going to divide it into $1.25. So give it for the taxes. And then, so he made a kinyan and the mamash lushdan, the $5 goes to the boss. And then they comes home. He says, I only have $100. I don't have $105. So the question would have been, if $5 of the 100 would have been transferred. So he said, no, he didn't mean to give the 5 out of the 100. He meant to give 5 out of the 105. You don't have 105. So he never gave anything. So it came in the issue of mamash lushdan, even though it's not the main sugya. Even if he had mamash made a kinyan also, made a kinyan of something that doesn't exist. So it's a mistake and nothing's chaled, everything's fine.
But if it would have existed, it would have
The
worked.
mamash lushdan, yeah, mamash lushdan works. That's the end of mamash lushdan. We finished mamash lushdan. We learned this no Allah of mamash lushdan. We got some details even by a milva and even by a matana metas you have to have the fun of. This Gemara says if it's a mistake, then it's not kona. And we finished the sugya of mamash lushdan. How did it come in? Because the Mishnah spoke about the difference between the get and the shechrur, which if somebody said, give it, and he died, so then lo yiton lachamisa, because it didn't work till after, you can't give a get after death. And Mashenki and Truman Laploni, yiton lachamisa, and that the Gemara had two pshatim how to learn the Mishnah. Is it because maybe that's the reason that it works automatically, that you can't give money after death either, but he got it during their lifetime. Why? Either because Mamash Shchimera is Mesur and Dami, or it's Bebori and it's Mamash Lushtan, and also there's a new thing called Mamash Lushtan that it can transfer without doing anything. Just he told him, give it to him, and the person is there, so then also it could work. So we got to the sugya of Mamash Lushtan, we elaborated, and we finished. The rest of the sugya now till the end of the parak talks about a new sugya, and the question is how it comes in. So this is the sugya of holech kizchi. And the Mepharshim that I saw, Askro and
Sifta.
the Sifta, they said that it comes in pretty loosely because of the sugi before Mamash Lashon. I don't see any connection to Mamash Lashon. I would think that the reason it comes in is because the sugi before it spoke about Tain Kischi. That goes back in the Mishnah before and the Avrohom base. What is what? Tain Kamas Chei, right? So now the Gemara talks about Holech and Tain. When you tell somebody, give it. Here's going back and Talmud Mishnah Seinu. Where's that? That's on Yud Aleph Hamid Beis. Right. That was the Mishnah before. So it's a little difficult why it's going back on the Mishnah before, but it happens sometimes. And here the issue was when somebody said Tain. What was the case over here? But Tain get zelish, if he could be choser or not, if it's considered a schos. And over there, even if it's considered a schos, but it has to be that the one who is giving it meant that you should be zocha. If the husband says, or the Adon, he says, give a get or shashikwa. So the Gemara's the Mishnah's whole issue over there was, is it a schos or chova? Is it a benefit to get divorced? Is it a benefit to get liberated? Over there, definitely it's not a schos to get divorced. Maybe it's a benefit to get liberated, even though he loses his parnasa, he loses truma. That was the deal over there. But it doesn't start if the master didn't mean that mitzido he's ready to give it right away. If the master didn't want the Eved to get the shashik until he gets it in his hand, then it doesn't make a difference if it's a schus or not, even if it's a schus. But the master didn't mean to give it. This is a question of a daf ago that the master gave a document of liberation to a shliach to give it over to the Eved. And the question is if the shliach is zocha right away. The shliach can be zocha right away only if the master is willing to give it right away. If the master didn't mean, like Levi Yaakov had a scenario where he was middle of working, the Eved was working, I don't want to give it away yet until after he finishes the work. So what would make a difference if it's a schus for the Eved to get liberated or not? Because the master didn't mean to liberate him till later on. So that's the Gemara says. The Gemara goes into the sugya tofas l'balchov v'makom shechav l'acheirim. Maybe the shliach would be able to grab it away, so to speak, even though the master is not happy about it. That was the subject. But the Gemara said, no, it doesn't mean that. It's chav l'acheirim, and the reason why the subject comes up is because the master was willing to give it right away. Because when he said the word tain gets abdi. He meant be zocha for him. The word tain, give, when I say give this to, so does it only mean give it to him physically, or does it even mean be zocha immediately? So that's what the Gemara said on that Yud Aleph Hamid Beis, that in Talmud Mishnah Seinu, Kalama Tain Tenu Kam Zechudam. It's about 5 lines from the bottom of Yud Aleph Hamid Beis, and that seems to be a very nice reason why the Gemara is going to come up now. The whole sugya now is going to be holech kizchi. The word holech means take this to somebody. It's very similar to the word. What's that? Where?
How do you translate the phrase?
The word before the Gemara meant tenu. Whoever says if you say give, it's as if he would say zechei. The word tenu, kalomer zechei. If you say give, the person who says the word give, he means to say be zocha in it. And how Gemara is going to use the word holech. Holech means take it to him. If I say take it to him, does it mean take it to him physically only? And it's not
take it for a mirror. So holech kizki.
Right. Holech, saying the word holech as if he said the word zechi. Zechi is a way that I would say
holech is like.
Holech is like zechi.
I see. Okay.
That's going to be the sugi now. So I think that's how the connection of the sugi comes in. Yeah. Even though it's not right after, should have been there. Okay, so we waited a little bit to end the parak with this sugi. And that's how the sugi starts now. So where should we start? Itmar. If somebody said, Ruben said to Shimon, take this money to Levi that I owe him. Nothing to do with Mamash. We finished Mamash Lashon. And Levi's not here. He's saying, take this, be a messenger to take this to Shimon that I owe. What happens if something happens on the way? He didn't get the money there. Does the sender have responsibility? Or I did mine, I gave it to somebody, what would you
This can
say?
happen very often.
Yeah, a lot of times the
You-
shliach, things happen on the road. The shliach took $100 to take, and then he lost it, it got stolen, got burned, whatever happened.
That's why when you send FedEx, you get them to sign it, so.
That they have responsibility, they have to have
responsibility.
achrayas. Here, nothing was spoken about,
Right.
and the question is, something happened on the road, is the sender chayiv achrayas or not? So everybody, so now the recipient didn't say anything, didn't say give it, the recipient's wait, the mal was waiting for his money back.
Right.
So that's because you sent it, very nice, you sent it to somebody,
I didn't get it.
but I didn't get it. So there's no question that he's chayiv achrayas. There's no question that the sender, the lover, is still chayiv to make it up.
So this
He
guy-
calls up the Malvi. He sees a Malvi later on. A week later, you got the money. No, I didn't get the money. And they find out from the shliach that it wasn't something happened on the road. So the Malvi says, "You still owe me the money." He says, "But I gave it to shliach to send to you. Very nice, but I didn't get it."
Meaning it doesn't have a house.
We're not talking about the shliach. The subject is not the shliach. That's maybe another gemara. If the shliach has to pay, but between the Malvi and the lover still has to pay. The lover can't say, "I sent it." The Malvi says, "I didn't get it."
Right.
And even if now let's talk out a little bit further. And even though the lover says, but it was a schus for you to receive the money, was it not? That the lover, that the shliach should have made a zoch, should have been zocha. The shliach, when I gave it to the shliach, do you want him to be zocha for you right away, or it shouldn't be yours until he gets it to you? So one may talk about that. The Malva might say, "No, I don't want it. I don't. And
I don't
on
want
one
it.
hand, I don't want.
it.
Yeah.
I want it in my hand.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
it
not-
really depends on who makes the shliach. If
Oh.
Right?
If the Malva sends the shliach, then he says, "Give it to him."
Right.
And it's
And you
already in
keep
my
it.
jurisdiction.
That's
But
right.
if you made the shliach, so it's in your jurisdiction. But now it is an issue called zechia. If it's a source for the malva to have the money right away,
Right.
so then maybe he wants him to be zocha. On the other hand, it's dangerous because something might happen and the malva doesn't want it. So that's what the Sugi talks about. Amarav chay bach v'yuso ve'im bo lachzor eino chozer.
Who would come to the Zor?
So there's a
We're talking about
the
a loan. here or something?
yeah, it's a loan, yeah.
So if the Malva wants to change, the guy that said.
The lover that sent it, he says, let's make a scenario that Rashi makes, that he finds out that he's Chayv Bachrais, that the lover, even though he gave the money,
Right.
then the shliach tells him, but you know, you're still Chayv Bachrais, because the Malva didn't appoint, and he's not happy that I should have it because maybe I'm going to lose it.
Right.
So you're Chayv Bachrais. So then the lover says, give it back to me. Give it back to me, because then I don't trust you.
Right.
I'll take it myself. I don't want to give it to you, and then I'm going to be Chayv Bachrais. So, no, Rav says in Baal Lachza in the Choser. As far as that, the Malva is koned already. It's a schus. Why? Because that's what the Lover said. Holech is chi. He means be zocha, and it only can be zocha as much as it's a merit. It's a benefit for the Malva. But if it's not a benefit for the Malva, not being zocha.
Who said the letter agrees to that?
So that's what we're being done. What he meant. He said holech kischi. Let's say
Who
there was
said-
more-
That's the
you-
Malva
you-
man, but who said the
No,
letter
no,
agrees to that term?
the Malva is not here. The Malva is not here. The Malva doesn't know what's happening even. The Malva is sleeping.
So who said the lever agrees to such, the lever?
He says kasi. He said be zocha. If he said the word holech means like holech is the same thing as saying zocha. He says be zocha.
If
What
the
do you mean
lever
bizarre?
doesn't gain
No,
by
the
the Malva, by the Malva being Zecha, why would the lever give it to him to be Zecha?
We look
So-
at the Lova and we say any Lova would want to get his money back.
The Malva wants to get his money back. The Malva wants to get
Oh,
his
the
money
Malva,
back.
I mean,
The Malva is wants to get his money back,
sorry,
and
the
therefore,
Malva.
and therefore it's Chai Bachrais. Because I don't want the shliach to be zocha for me in a way that I might lose it. So therefore, Chai Bachrais.
And they say the same story. The lever is not willing to make a shliach in a way. that-
So let's meet Shmuel because you're saying Shmuel. So I'm not going to argue the point because Shmuel looks like you.
I don't hear the
Who's-
draft saying.
So let's go
Who's
back
the
again.
Chayv B'Achrei? So
The Lova,
the Lova is the one who borrowed.
yeah, and he's sending it now.
And
He's sending it back
oh,
to
he's
pay.
tired.
If anything happens, he pays them.
And if the guy comes,
And he
agent.
wants to retract. He may not retract. The Lova says, "Give back to me." The Lova tells to the shliach, "Give me back the money." I retract. I gave you the money to go take to the Malva, and now I hear that I'm Chai Bachrayas. Give me back the money. I'll take it myself. I'll send it with
he can't.
FedEx. He
He
can't.
can't. And if it gets lost, he's still gonna.
And either way, he loses. That the Mal, it's considered the Malva's already
Got it.
got it. I can't
And
take
if
it
he
back.
doesn't get it in his
But if
hand,
he doesn't get it, if he doesn't get it, I have to.
okay.
And Shmuel says like Avrohom wants, mitoch shechai b'achrayuso, I also agree chai b'achrayus. So therefore, I'm that it can't be half a job. I'm not going to lose on all counts. That since I am chai b'achrayus, if it gets something happens to it, so therefore the shliach was not zocha for the malva, and therefore it's still you're a marshliach, and I want it back. So he has the right to take it back. Let's make this in a different color just to keep us going. This is Shmuel.
Oh, he's chayiv. They both agree that the lova is chayiv and not chayiv.
Right.
But did it get? Oh, so Shmuel doesn't say holy because
Oh, so we didn't know yet. That's going to be the subject then. So far we have the
like that's what Shmuel said.
Yeah, we have the case, and we have Rav and Shmuel. Both of them say chayiv b'achrayus. The chalokes is if the lova could retract and say I want it back.
Okay.
So the Gemara now opens up the subject and it goes into the subject called holach kischi. It seems that be the machlokes that Shmuel says that the shliach was not zocha because he didn't say be zocha, he just said holach, and Rav says that he cannot be choser. Must be that he said yes to be zocha. But the Gemara says no, nothing to do with that. The kul yam holach kischi dami. Everybody holds holach kischi, but Shmuel explains himself why he says that he can be choser because he says b'toch shechai b'achrayus. That's what he said. Because here you can't say half a job. If you're going to take on chai b'achrayus, because you're not going to say over there schid, because the Malva says, I don't want that the shliach should be zocha for me, and then I'm going to lose it. And if he loses it, I'm going to be at loss. So here, there's everyone holds chai b'achrayus. So that's the reason why Shmuel would say here you can't do palginon, you can't split it up. Is there conditional? Not that it's conditional. Here you see here you can't split it up. Either the shliach was zochanit or was not zochanit. It can't be zochanit for some issues and for some issues not. That's what Avrohom is saying makes sense. That if you're saying that the shliach was not zocha, and that's why this rechiva cry is back on the loga, so then you can't say that he was zocha as far as not being able to retract. Everybody holds holach kischi. Migu is the same word as mitoch. Migo, because that Rav says you don't say this new svara means really he should have been zocha. Holach kischi. The lover told the shliach take it means be zocha for the malva. But and Rav says be zocha for the malva, so now I can't take it back anymore. It's chai b'achrayus, because as far as that can't force it on the malva if he doesn't want. But
what does it?
The word migo means mitoch.
Yeah.
So Rav doesn't hold it as far as mitoch, and Shmuel does hold as far as mitoch. Everybody holds that as far as the holech, it was as if he says zechi, and what Lo was willing to that the shliach should be zocha in it right now for the malva, and Rav says therefore he can't be choser because he gave it to the shliach and he's zocha. But and the fact that he's chai b'achrayus still doesn't take away from that. You don't say that since I'm chai b'achrayus, so therefore I didn't mean that he should be zocha. I said be zocha. And Shmuel is the one who says mitoch. He says it openly. He says mitoch. That since the law is still going to be chai b'achrayus, you can't say that he can't retract. That like manavshach. It has to be. You have to be consistent. So the Gemara has to point out that sugya is going to be called holach kischi. This is the name of the sugya, holach kischi. I would just point out that this is the name of the sugya, holach kischi, and that seems how we're going to paskin. Even though the Gemara till the end of the parak is going to go juggling holach kischi or not. Here, Rabbi Shmuel.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. Halach kischi is what does the loiva mean when he tells
Right.
halach?
Yes.
Why should anyone in the right mind want to be like Rav?
I don't know. But he said bizocha. If he said bizocha, so he meant
The
something.
word halach means
It's
bizocha.
as if he meant it means take it, and the understanding is unless you said, I'll say it like this way. There's no question that Rav also would agree that if he specified and said, I'm giving it to you, but I'm not being mizakeh to you at all, then there's no question that he can take it back. But no one's forcing him. He can't force the lover to do that. He's standing it with a shliach and he says, I'm not giving it to you to be zocha. Then there's no question he can take it back. But when he said the word holech, and we said that the word holech is understood, it's another nickname for the word bizocha. So he said to be zocha. So Rav says as much as he can, he's going to be zocha.
I don't know the explanation, but I have a little riot to Rav from the American mail service. If you put a letter in the mailbox, you can't take it back. You go down to them before they deliver it. They won't let you get it. They won't give it back to you.
You can't open the mailbox to get it back.
No, meaning say, even if you go to the mailbox, to the mail office,
They won't
you
give it back to you.
right.
Say, I made a mistake.
right? I don't know why, but they hold like Rav.
It's in federal property. It's out of your property.
But you gave it, you proved to you that you're the one, the sender. They still won't give it to you.
You have to fit it into Chai Bach Yusuf. Then everyone, you know, that the question is if it's Chai Bach Yusuf, there's a contradiction in these two things.
They say,
Okay.
fine.
They hold like Rav.
Okay, so that's the first
You don't
Gemara.
like my raya? Okay, say I believe you love me.
And Tana give us a Rav. We have a price like Rav. Here it is. It says in the price, "Holech manu leploni shani chayiv lo." So far, it's word for word. This is the case, right? Holech manu leploni. That's the case we had before. Take. This is the case. Holech manu leploni shani chayiv lo. That's what it says in the price over here. Or another case, Tain Manu Ploni Shani Chayiv Lo. There's no difference in the word Holech or the word Tain. We had before Tain Kiski also, the same thing. The word Holech and Tain, both of them, to take it or give it, both of them means as if to say Zocha. And also that's the point in parentheses over here. Also the same thing will be a Pikadon. Put that in parentheses for a minute. Holech Manu Ploni Pikadon Sheish Biyodi. Or Tain Manu Ploni Pikadon Sheish Biyodi. In that case of Pikadon also. There's no difference the word Holech or Tain, or if it's a lovo or pikodon, all the cases, what does it say? Chai Bach Yuso. Then Balachzer Ein Chozer. And Mamash Raya to Rav. Just highlight that to be the Raya. This is the Raya to Rav. Holech Manu Leploni Shani Chayiv Lo. Chai Bach Yuso. Okay, that everybody holds up, but in Balachzer, Ein Chozer. All that's Mamash word for word of Rav. So we finished Machlokas Rav and Shmuel, Raya to Rav, and even though it seems like a chiddush that he loses on both sides, that's what happens. That he said Bizocha, so he meant I can't be choser anymore. I Rais, because the Malv is not happy that he should lose out the Rais possibility just because he gave it to somebody. So therefore, the law is still Chai Rais, but if he wants to, he cannot be choser. There was a problem with the word Pikodon over here. Pikodon is the side point over here. I'll make it also in parentheses. In the parentheses, we just said that same thing applies to a Pikodon. The same thing applies to a Pikodon. I have something that someone's watching for me, and I'm watching something for somebody. I'm the nifkar. I'm watching something for somebody, and I tell the shliach take it to him.
To
return this to its rightful owner. I've been a custodian. I'm watching it for him. So the same thing would be true. That I can't take it back. I say I changed my mind. I want to take it myself. I don't trust you that you're going to be a good shliach. I can't take it. And if there's anything happens on the way, so it's Chai Bach Rais because it doesn't yet get back to the Rishas of the Malva. So the Rais said the same thing about Halva also applies to Pikadon. On this, the Gemara is a problem. On this side point, the Gemara is a problem by Pikadon. By Pikadon also. There's a concept that a person doesn't want his object to be in the hands of somebody that he didn't appoint.
Who's speaking here?
The mafkid, the owner. No, the mafkid is the owner. The one who put it in custody of the custodian. Let the owner say, I don't want that my Pikadon should be in the hand of somebody else. Means, does the custodian have a right to send it to somebody else?
He gave it to him to watch. I don't want somebody else watching.
Yeah, why I give it to you? Because I know that you're a trustworthy person. I'm giving it to somebody else to bring back to me. I don't let you do that. Wait till I come to you or you bring it to me, but don't give it to somebody else. So buy a loan. I just need the money back. And as long as there's a price till I get it back. So I don't care who you send it with. You have to pay me until it gets, but by the Pikadon, I don't care that you're going to be Chai Bach Rais. I want my Kiddush cup back. I don't want money for my Kiddush cup. I gave you my Kiddush cup to watch. I'm a Kiddush cup. Now you're going to give it to somebody else. I might not, who knows with this guy? I don't trust him. And he's going to lose it in the airport. And I'm not going to get it back. So you're not allowed to give it to anybody. So if you're not allowed to, so then surely in Ba'alachzor, Choser means the whole issue we had till now was by a loan. By a loan, so if he said Bizocha, so the Malva has the upper hand over there because it says chus for me that the shliach should be zocha for me the money, that he shouldn't be able to retract anymore. But by the Pikadon, the mafkid doesn't give any authorization. It's a schus. It's not a schus for me. It's not a schus for me that the shliach should get back my kiddush cup. Because I want my kiddush cup and I don't want him to be holding it.
So he shouldn't have given to him in the first place.
And since he shouldn't have, so
He
there's no
certainly
schus over there. If the nifkad, if the custodian is going to say, I'll take it back, I'll take it myself. So now the shliach says no, in the choser, you can't retract, I'm going to take it. So the Gemara is asking, has nothing to do with the subject before. This is a side issue that when someone has an object, owns an object, he doesn't want it to be in anybody's hands, only the person that he authorized. So the nifkad, the custodian, has no right to give it to any shliach to take back, unless he got permission from the mafkid, and therefore, it surely is still in the jurisdiction of the nifkad, and he should be allowed to take it back if he wants to.
So this is a kasha on the Bryce, not necessarily on the Rav.
Right. Rav didn't talk about it because he just spoke
We
about
just thought
it.
that it was similar to.
The Bryce says so. The Bryce says that. The Bryce says. By
No,
halva,
it
the
just
Bryce
says
says both. The
this
Bryce
goes like
says lova and also says about a pikadon.
So it's a kasha on the Bryce and not on Rav.
Right.
We just thought this was like parallel to Rav.
It is. The Bryce says both cases. The Bryce says halva and pikadon. We don't need the parentheses. Take out all the parentheses. Rav says the Bryce says like me. Holach manu laploni. We didn't need the parentheses even. If it only say pikadon, then we could say that it's we thought it was similar now. But the Bryce says both.
Okay.
And Rav definitely has
Bryce.
Rav has a Bryce like him, but the Bryce says extra. The Bryce says by pikadon also. And that the Gemara says that the malva, the mafkid, the owner of the object, has the right to say, I don't want to give it to anybody else, and he's not allowed to. And therefore, when he gave it, he surely could take it back again. The nifkad.
So what's happening here? The nifkad is telling the shliach,
Give it back to me.
don't be zocher.
Because the in the sono, okay, it could be it's a paraphrase for someplace else. And it's only shepikdoni b'alachah. It could be that they changed it even. That it could be that's just the way that you're right. That it means that the mafkid is the one who's saying that. He's saying that he's sleeping. He doesn't even know what the whole thing. But it means every mafkid always says, "And with only shepikdoni b'alachah." I don't want my bikadon to be by hands of anybody else. So you're not allowed to give it. The nifkad is not allowed to give it to anybody else. Just the
It
sign.
means lema is safe for him.
Right.
Safe for him.
So then,
How about we fit into the words?
The nifkad is saying that since Ein so no, we're going to be
So therefore, I did a mistake to give it to you. I made a mistake. I had no right to give it to you, and therefore the shlichus is not a zchi at all. And give it back to me. How could it be that he can't take it back? He shouldn't have given it. Just to point out that anybody has pikadon, you borrow something, or even a pikadon, you can't send it with anybody. Give it back.
I'm not disagreeing, but just to one Nakuda, it's talking about something it's irreplaceable.
Not irreplaceable.
Let's say I borrow from your pen. You don't mind if it gets lost. I'll pay you a new pen.
It
It's
could
something
be.
that you don't want. Something that you have sentimental or computer. Your own computer. You don't
It's
want
his
to get lost.
father's bar mitzvah.
But that's what I mean to say. Something that you. But it's something. That's what this Rav. It's a nice svar now.
Could be. But you have to know how when it applies. Some people they've been using this pen already.
Why
For
should
their-
someone care if they get a new
This
pen?
cheap big pen, but
It's-
I'm using it for 6 years already. And
Well, what do you? No, if it's not sentimental. What do you care? You get a
It
new
is
pen.
sentimental because it's been working for 6 years and it.
Okay, no, but it depends what it
You
is.
know,
but
it's-
Yeah, okay. The application
They
might
don't
be
make them
the
like
application might
They don't make
be-
them like they used to.
If it's something that's not sentimental and it's not personal, so then he doesn't mind if you give it. You'll buy him a new one.
They don't want a new one. They want that one.
I'm saying if it's not sentimental, not personal, you don't mind.
if you can get the exact same thing. Okay,
Why not, you know, if someone take a shirt from me and they give me a different shirt, I don't mind. A new shirt instead of a secondhand shirt.
okay,
If it's computer, I want my computer to have all my notes on it, whatever.
okay. Whatever the application will be, the so it's true. So that's the kasha that every pikadon is surely the shliach is not zocher. I'm observing shochas a kapran. If the nifkad is assumed to be a denier, like a ganav, so then the malva wants it out of his what? The mafkid. The mafkid wants it out of his hand. So he can't say, I'd rather be by you than be by the shliach. Everybody knows that the mafkid would rather get out of the hands. Maybe at the time when he gave it to him, he didn't know. But now that he's in the front paper that he's a big kafran, so now he's happy that it got out of his hands. So enochnami, only in the case where the mafkid can't say, I don't want you to give it out of your hands.
What's a
Okay.
good translation of Avrohom?
A denier, kofar, a denier.
Like a kofar.
Kofar, not a kofar in Hashem, but a kofar in the money that he gets. So that was a side point, then we could end the parentheses over there.
He'll say that he didn't get it back.
He'll say he never got such a Kiddush cup to watch. Not that the mafkid is a count, not the
Oh, this guy.
the
Oh,
nifkar is a
the
kafran,
nifkar is
and then
denied.
he can't tell to the shliach that I wasn't authorized to give it to you because he wants it to be by me and not by you. Everyone knows that it's not true. He doesn't want it to be by the nifkar because who knows if he'll ever get it back. New story. So, question what the words mean exactly. Sabali, the same means coat. Coat. A coat is a sarbal, a coat. Rashi says coat in French, in English. Ashras, Rashi says means ashrai, which would mean like credit. So the pshat would be that he sold coats to people in Mechuza and they owed him money. He sold them coats on credit. And Rav Sheshes was in the coat business, or at least a one-time thing. And people in Mechuza owed him money. A kid said they owed him money. People in Mechuza owed Rav Sheshes money. Amalei Rav Yosef Bachama. Rav Sheshes said to Rav Yosef, I think this is the regular Rav Yosef, was Rav Yosef Bachama. The Hadi does is I sinu neheli. When you come, he was going to go to Mechuza and back. So Rav Yosef, Rav Sheshes said, you're going to go there. So tell them that you're going back to Rav Sheshes and bring me back the money. They owe me money, and go there. And when you come back, tell them that you're going back to Rav Shesh's city, and they should send the money with you. So before Moshe said that if he said give it to them, it's my shliach, then surely no question the whole thing. So we have to say, you must say that even though he said pick it up, but you're not my shliach. Just like sometimes people say, I know somebody that's coming. Let's say, but not that I'm giving a shliach. It's not my shliach. It's your shliach. But you want to know who's coming. You need somebody coming from the States. I know someone's coming from the States. Your neighbor's coming from the States, but it's still on your jurisdiction.
Tell them that you're from my town, so if they want, they'll send it.
Right. But not that Rav Sheshes is saying, you're my shliach and accept it, and therefore it's mine already. You have to say that in order to clear the road for the Gemara coming up. So that's what happened over there. So Yosef came to them and he said, but if Yosef Azal, so if Yosef went there, Yavinule, and they gave him the money that they owed him.
I'm sorry, where are you? Nick? Did you already do Nick?
No.
Okay.
Amrilei Nikni Minach. The people over there, Mechuzah said to Rav Yosef, let us make a kinyan. Rashi says, let us make a kinyan that we should not have responsibility, you should have responsibility.
If price of the money, you have a price.
That you have a price on the money. That if the money is going to get lost on the way, it's not about responsibility, it's your responsibility. Amalu in. So he said, yeah, okay, I'm willing to accept the price. At the end, he backed out of it, then he didn't accept the price. First he said he would, and then he changed his mind, I'm not going to accept the price. And they gave him the money, and he came home and gave the Avsheshes, and everything was fine. But he said over the story that they told me to take a price, and then I report that.
What does it mean he backed out?
He didn't take a price.
But he took the money.
He took the money, and he
Without it.
He told him clearly, I'll take it, but I'm not taking responsibility.
And it seems that the guy. What?
He said he will take responsibility.
He said he'll
Right.
take responsibility. It sounds like he took it and left.
No, he said he'll take. He just said yes, I will.
But before he left,
But then he
He slipped
didn't.
out without making the kinyan.
And no, it seems like nothing happened. Everything was a safe trip. He got home. Everything was good. But he told Avsheshes what happened. He also looked up when he came to Avsheshes. Avsheshes told him, "Shaper of this. The low Shabbos nafshach eved lo b'lish malva. It's good what you did. That you didn't make yourself into a eved lo b'lish malva. Eved lo b'lish malva is a pasuk. That a lover is a slave to the malva. When you borrow money, you're enslaved. So why should you enslave yourself? If you would accept it, right?
Sorry, go ahead. First reason.
No, if you would be a lover, so if you have to borrow money, you have to borrow money. But you should know that you're enslaving yourself. Here, why should you enslave yourself?
so he was saying it was good that you.
That you back then.
I don't really get it. He's not a loiva. He's taking a chrayas on a shlichut.
And
So why did they call
now he's taking on for himself the obligation as if it would be, as if he would have borrowed, as if he owes it. Why should he take on something that he doesn't know? Why should he take on a responsibility? There's no reason that he should. There's a different gears in the Gemara. This Nachmin always means a different gears. It doesn't mean a different Ikadamri. It means a different Nosach from the Gemara. Rashi brings down also two gears in the Gemara. That not that you did well, that you didn't make yourself Avad Lova, but Shaper of this. You did well. Why? Avad Lova Lishmalva, which Rashi explains means that they're the Avad Lova. They're the ones who owe me money. So they're responsible. So why should you take it over? They're the ones who are responsible.
I understand the second one better.
You know, it's just, it's a concept learned from a puzzle. So you quoted the puzzle.
It's not live over here.
It's a concept.
Oh, yeah, but I have better the second one.
I'm not saying that he's right. It's saying
Yeah, but
the
it's more
concept learned from the
precise
puzzle.
for the second case.
But it's not precise. It's a concept learned from the puzzle.
The first one also wasn't Amish Alba, they owed
What's the
money
second
because they
version? I'm
bought,
not getting the second version.
instead of saying,
Okay.
it takes out these words. The second version doesn't have these three words. It has Shapar of this, Ever Lo Lishmal, but doesn't have the words Lo Shabbos Nafsha. The first Gersa says it's good that you didn't make yourself an Ever Lo Lishmal. The second Gersa says it's good that you did because Ever Lo Lishmal, which means that they are Ever Lo Lishmal. But why should you take away their responsibility? They're the Avadim. They're subject to get the money back to me. Why should you take away they have a responsibility? It's the same idea that they have the responsibility and not you. Why should you take away their responsibility?
First one was, it's good that you didn't take on the responsibility. The
And
second
make
was, it's good
yourself-
what you did.
Because
They've
they
got
are
this-
they're the ones that have the responsibility. Okay, that's the end of the story. Next story. Rashi says it's because the name of a kli. What did I see? Somebody says that it's a tzimtzena, some kind of a jug, or some kind of a silver vessel, kiddush cup, whatever you want. Ispaka. So he had an arda that so he had a kli, a silver kli that he wanted to get back. Similar story as Rav Sheshes, he had money that he wanted to get back. Amalahu Rav Distoy Rav Yana, Rav Yossi Rav Kippur. So these two Amarom were going there. They were going to Nardo. So Rav Yoshia said, when you go there, so bring it back. Bring it back. Please bring it. And again, you have to say the same thing I said before. Not that he said that I'm making you my shliach.
Right.
I'm not making you a shliach, but just tell them that you're going back to Nardo and maybe they'll want to send it with you.
Same motion.
Same as before.
Not Tito.
Which word? About when you come, that's interesting. That when you come, that's plural. Asis says the singular. Asisu is you speaking to two people. Of the story of Yana, Rav Yossi, Rav Kippur. When you come back, bring it for me. When you come back, bring it for me. Also, so they gave the cup, they gave this silver cup to these two Amaron, to them. Now lay is to him, not lay was to them. Amri lahu nickname minachu. Again, they wanted that each shluchim should have a chrayas, that anything happens, that they should not be responsible. So they said, make a kinyan that you should be chayiv achrayas and not us. Amri lahu lo. They said no. We don't want to take a chrayas. Why should we take a chrayas? You're the ones who are responsible, and we'll take it, but we're not taking any achrayas. Amri lahu ahadrein elan. So they said, so give it back to us. We don't want to send it with you. You're going to take it, and we don't know how responsible you are. Maybe you'll lose it. We're going to be chayiv achrayas. So give it back to us. Rav Yana agreed to give it back. Rav Yossi Kippur amalu lo. Rav Yossi Kippur said, I'm not going to give it back. What's the right thing to do?
Give it back.
Why give it back? Maybe not. Maybe there was zoch already.
Like Rav and Shmuel, right?
Maybe Rav and Shmuel. If you mutar lachzer or not, I think maybe it's different because here it's a pikadon. Here it wasn't alva, it's a pikadon. So I think for sure belongs to the owner. I don't know. Maybe it's telling Rav and Shmuel.
Yeah, but only a condition that he would take up raise. When he gave it, he only gave it that if you really get it, then you'll take responsibility.
Rav holds there's no problem that these two things can split. That there's not going to be the price will still be on the lover, and they can't retract. Maybe Shmuel holds that it can't be such a contradiction. So, since there's a chiyuv achrayus back on the nifkad over here, so he has the right to take it back. Maybe it's depending on Rav Shmuel. But that's what happened over here. That one of them was willing to give it back. One of them was not willing to give it back. Have a come at Sarule, so they were bothering Rav Yossi Kippur to give it back. Amrule, so Rashi says that they said to Rav Distoy Rav Yana, it means the people over there, the ones who had the nifkad, the custodians, they said to the one who was willing to give it back, look what he's doing, he's not giving it back. They complained to the one who was willing to give it back about the one who was not willing to give it back. He's not giving it back. And they were bothering him, and they were Amalu Tav Ramule. So he said, okay, so beat him up more.
Beat him up.
Yeah, like, give him more.
Right. Pick him up. Beat him up.
And that's what happened. And they got back the cup,
Wow.
and they came back to Rav Yoshia, and they told him the story. He also looked away when they came back to Rav Yoshia on Malay. So Rav Yoshia Bar Kippur complained. Well, look what happened. He even gave it back. Chazima lo mistai de lo sayin elo amalu nami tav ramule. Look what he did to me. That not only did he not help me, that not to give it back, he even told them that it's good. Give him, he beat him up. Amalei. So he asked the slave Ravani, what happened? Makarai. No, what's that all about? Why did you do that? So he said, these people are big bullies. These people over there in Makuza. I wasn't going to take a chance.
It's a constant flash for kids.
So the Gemara talks about the
Wait, he's
constant.
asking why did he give it back if he thought he shouldn't give it back?
Why did you give it back, and why did you even encourage them to take it back and not help to not give it back? But Yosef Kippur said, I don't want to give it back.
Why did you encourage?
Why did you not only not help your friend not to give it back, you even encouraged them? Fine. The best about keeper. You didn't help
He didn't
him.
want to give it back. Not only did you not help him, you
Not-
encouraged those other guys. Why
Right.
did you do that? That's the
Right,
question.
So Rabbi the story Rabbi Yanai said to Rabbi Achi Rabbi Yoshia, Osam b'nei Adam, Hein Ama, V'Kovan Ama, U'Medaber Mechatziyin, U'Shmosein B'Vuholin, Arda, V'Arta, Pili B'Reish. These people, they're an Ama. So Ama is not so big. Ama is an Ama, but it means that they're big people. Rashi said, like Anshe Midos, the people that you measure, like you call them a 6-footer, a 7-footer, a 8-footer. These are people that you measure. These are
B'nei
big, huge
Adam.
people. Those Osan B'nei Adam, those people over there, the ones who are holding the cup, those people, Osan B'nei Adam, they are
They're an
Amma. Doesn't mean that means that they are measurable. The Koban Amma, and their hats are also an Amma. Rashi says that their clothing is also very, what's the word? Frightening.
Large and
Big.
distinctive.
And what's the word when somebody is overbearing?
Oh.
And Umadabin Mechetzeyen. So Rashi says that when they talk, they have such deep voices that it sounds like it's coming out of their stomach. They're big
Tough guys.
mafia guys. Ushma, and even their names are scary. Arda, Pili Beresh. I don't know what they mean, but if you know the translation, it'll be very scary. I had a thought. Pili Beresh sounds like a cracked head or something like that. Pili sometimes means a crack. So Pili Beresh maybe it means like a cracked skull. And I don't know what Arda means, but it says very scary people.
Today it would be like Tony.
Or Nimrod, something like Nimrod.
Nimrod.
Omen Kfusu Kos, and if they say to tie somebody up, they tie him up. They don't just talk, and when they talk, they do what they say. And Omen Harogu, if they say they're going to kill, they kill. Ilu, now he says a little bit poetic. Ilu Hargu as to stay, Minasan Yana Yaba, Bar Kamosi. His name was the story of Rabbi Yanai. His name was the story, the son of Yanai. He said if they would kill the story, who would give Yanai another son like me? Means, what am I supposed to do? They would have killed me. Who's going to give my father a son like me? So of course I gave it back. Amalei, I don't know why I wasn't satisfied. So he asked him more questions. He interrogated him. Then he asked them, hello, the Kovan Al Hussein, are they have connections to the government? Amalei, hey, it could be they didn't have connections to the government. So then they, even though they're big talkers, maybe they don't do it. But they have connections to the government? Yes, they do. And another question, do they have horses and mules that run behind them? Means like they have an entourage, they're big people, strong people. Amalei, hey, yes. Okay, so Amalei, they say you did right. That you didn't give it back. Really, you should have given it back. If it wouldn't have been the Gemara Mashma, you should not have given it back because it was a pikadon that belonged to me. And maybe we'll say, like Rav, at least, that we paskin that you can't be choser. If it is the pen of Rav Shmuel, pass like Rav, maybe everybody's moda because it's pikadon and it's the rightful owner got it back into the hands of the. So don't give it back, but under the conditions.
So these are
Right.
like
Not only that, it's much worse.
No,
That it's
Much
dangerous.
worse than
It's
Parva.
dangerous not to
It's
not to give it back.
Because if they take it, they could get killed if anything happened.
Right. They might they would bully them up. And who knows what's going to happen? It was dangerous. It was so Moshe Feinstein says it brings down the article brings down to Moshe Feinstein, Dibas Moshe, that it wasn't Amish comes to Fosh, then it wouldn't be a question, and the Yisrael Kippur wouldn't interpret them either. But it means they're very big bullies, and it's even though the Gemara is pretty favorites, the Hagen Harogu, it sounds like it's very serious. But if Moshe says it can't be that it's comes to Fosh's mamish, because then it wouldn't be an issue. That's what he says. But he said he does bring down Oscar brings down that some
I can't say it was, and he didn't know. He did. The one who didn't give back didn't know it was for kind of professions. He was sounds on the story. He was surprised.
So Rabbi Banish said it's comes to Fosh's. He would have said 2 words, and the whole thing would have been over. He didn't trust him. Okay, he does say that the Ramban says, but Moshe says that the Ramban says it is a comes to Fosh's, and he doesn't understand what the question was then. How did Yisrael Kippur not want to give it back? End of that story. I imagine not.
The only reason he didn't want to give it back is because he held that it was already a kingdom. Is that what's the reason?
That in Baal Lachza Inachose.
Right, so he already said,
They had-
you
they-
gave it to me, and your
Right.
intention was the pater from the item that was already in the hands of the recipient.
Right.
But you
They,
didn't
they
make-
wanted, why did they agree to give it back? The police.
Why
They
did
wanted it
they
back.
wanted it back? Because they're not going to, because they weren't accepting a Christ. If something happens on the way, so then they're going to
Oh,
have to
they weren't
pay.
accepting a price, so they said, "Give it back." I see. And then when-
Either accept a Christ or give it back. And it seems neither of them accepted a Christ. That's interesting. Neither of them accepted a Christ.
Well, they tell me they chachamim the two.
Yes.
And who was the rabbi they asked what?
Avachi Rabbi Yoshe, the bottom of the first, bottom of the Bamar Aleph, Avachi Rabbi Yoshe. Okay, new story.
Okay, okay.
New story. Oh, we have time. What should we do? Shall we?
Sure.
Halak Mano Leploni. Take
Hello.
100 zuz to Ploni. He made a mashliach to go to give it. Halach a big shovel matzah. He went to find him. The shliach went, and he didn't find him. This is a present. This Gemara is not a bikodon, and it's not a what's a present. Present. Take your money, give it to Ploni. He went and he didn't find him. So it's going to say in the Gemara soon. The reason why I didn't find him is because he died. So what would you say?
See you back.
Give it back. Return to sender.
Return
Tani Chada Yachzul Lam Shalech. One Brisa says give back to the sender. What's another Brisa? The Yoshem Mishan Shtalfulo to the Yoshim of the recipient. What do you say? So it seems to be a machlokes. Does it go back to the
You're gonna
sender?
bring it to gift to somebody and then you die.
This is a
You
Bryson.
don't know for sure he wanted to give it to the sons. He wanted to give it to this guy.
Okay, good.
This is the
Maybe he got it already.
Uh-huh.
This is a Brisa. One Brisa says give it back. There's one says give it
Oh,
to the
yeah.
Yoshim.
Okay, good.
I'm David.
Who died? Somebody died?
The recipient.
Yeah, the guy.
Oh,
was supposed
and
to
he
get it.
didn't get it yet.
No, you can't.
No,
The
he
died.
shliach came and he said, "Where's Ploni?" He said, "He's in December." There.
One of the things is not to bring it to his grave. You know, that's not one of the.
So what does the shliach do? So one Brisa says go back to the sender. Another Brisa says give to the Yoshim of the recipient.
Return to sender.
Labor book and Miflagi. What's the machlok going to be about? What are the 2 Brises arguing about? Let's say the Masav Holach Kiski, or Masav Holach Lav Kiski. That'll be an easy one. That when he said Holach, what does the word Holach mean? Does Holach mean bizocha right now? If he's zocha right now, then it belongs to the recipient even before he got there, and even though he died, but he already owned it. If you say Holach is Lav Kiski, that he doesn't get it until he gets it in his hand, and he didn't get it in his hand because he died. That would be a good way to explain the Brisa. If you say Holach
Because-
Kiski.
When he did it, if the guy was already dead.
No, oh, yeah, nice. That's the Gemara it's going to handle soon. So far, the Gemara is understanding that the
He
recipient
was
died
alive
on the way.
after.
Right.
After.
That at the time,
Then it
at
is
the
a
time,
Yerusha.
and
Otherwise it would
mainly he
be
got it,
Yerusha.
and then he died. Then he gave it over to his Yoshim
Uh-huh.
because he already owned it. That's the Gemara suggests that might be the machlokes.
Okay.
Let's say the machlokes is that one price holds holok kisri, so therefore the recipient owned it already. And then when he died, it goes over to his Yoshim. So the recipient never got it, and therefore goes back to the sender. It could be somebody holds Lavkasi, and therefore should go back to the sender. So why should the Brisa, one Brisa say it goes to the Yoshim? It could be the Brisa that says that it goes to the Yoshim is that the sender was a Shchimera. And we know that a sender is a Shchimera, that he says, give, it's already that if a Shchimera gives something, then So here the case was the sender was a shlemira, and by the time he got to the recipient, he died also. He died. So, but he owned it already because at the time when the shlemira said give it, it's already automatically given. And then when the recipient dies, then it goes to his yorshim.
Okay.
That's another possibility. But another possibility. Both of them can be a shlemira, and therefore it should have been automatically given over at the time. And then if he died, if the recipient died, they go to the Yoshim. So why does somebody say no? They say Lamukabel b'shas matan mos, or the less say Lamukabel b'shas matan mos. This is what Rabbi Yaakov said. When did the recipient die? If the recipient died later, so then he already owned it, even though he didn't know about it.
So he goes to the
Then it goes to the Yoshim. But if he died before
He
the
was already dead.
he was already dead at the time of the Shemar, he was already dead, so then he
so
couldn't give it
there was
over.
never a Kenyan.
Right, and therefore it goes back
Bring
to
it
the
back.
sender. One more teretz?
Goes to the Yorshim was the sender.
Well, even if it was a shivmeira, there was nobody to give it to.
Right, right.
I'm understanding this.
Should we say that, no?
These two stories are share of yesterday's learning, right?
What's that to do with yesterday's learning?
The son is dead, so.
That's the Kenyan, not because of those the Kenyan was already made, but the triple.
There's no triple over here.
There's no triple.
No, he's sending a shliach to give it to Zani. Reuben sends a shliach to give it to Shimon in a different city, and he got there, and then the guys died. No one's there. No one's there, Mama Shloshta.
There's a similar.
Nothing, Mama Shloshta over here. This is sending, give a present. The question is, Holach Kaschi, was a shliach zochen it right away or not?
The Zechi means did he
He's zocher. You may be zocher right now. So if it's a present, so it's a schus. It's only a schus to get a present. So he's zocher right away. If it works, if you hold Holach Kaschi, he's zocher right away. And then they show you
He's on his way. He's on his way, so he's already got it.
Right.
and it wouldn't go back to the sender. The Gemara is trying to find cases why it should go back to why it should go back to the sender. Either Holach Kaschi or the guy died already. Papa Amar, Haba Bori. It could be that the sender is a Bori. So then the question would be, so why does it go to the Yorshin? If it's Bori and Holach Lav Kaschi, so then why should it go to the Yorshin? It should go back to the sender. How the Miss Mikabel B'chayi Nosein? How the Miss Nosein B'chayi Mikabel? Who died first? So we said that the Nosein also might have died over here. Here it says that the Nosein might have died. So it sounds very similar to the Gemara before.
Except this with the Shkibin right here.
Right, so what happened? So the Gemara is a little bit vague. Rashi says that you have to put more information over here, that there's another concept besides Man Shkibin Rakifsu, there's another concept called Mitzvah L'Kaim Diriyames. It's a mitzvah to do the will of the dead person. It's not Mamish Kinyan, but it's a mitzvah like to fulfill his will, to fulfill his wishes. Mitzvah L'Kaim Diriyames. So that's what Rashi puts. Let's see Rashi over here. Rashi puts that in.
Like his last wish.
Yeah.
The mitzvah here.
Yes, me.
You're going on the second half? On the
That-
second case?
The
The
mitzvah.
guy who gave it.
The guy, the
died.
Nosein died when the Makabel was still alive. So there's a concept called mitzvah l'kaim divyames. So therefore, even though you're right that there's no Kinyan, but he said something, give it to Ploni, and then there's the sender, the giver died. So it's mitzvah to fulfill his words, and the recipient was still alive. So it's a mitzvah to give it to him. And if he died, so give it to his children, his Yorshin. But if the Nosein, the Makabel, if the Makabel already died at the time of the present, so even though he said, give it to him, there's no mitzvah because he didn't exist anymore. It was a mistake. The whole thing was a mistake. So Rashi, I don't see all that in the Gemara, but Rashi puts it in to explain the last evidence. So we have many ways to explain that you don't have to say the Machokis is Holach Kaschi, Holach Lav Kaschi. Everybody holds Holach Lav Kaschi. If you say Holach Kaschi, then it's simple. The one who says it goes to the Yorshim is because he was over right away. And the Gemara first suggested that, the argument in Holach Kaschi. But the Gemara says you can say Holach Lav Kaschi and all kinds of other possibilities how to explain the Brisa. Just to point out that before when the Gemara said Rav and Shmuel, the Gemara said everybody holds Holach Kaschi. And it seems that's how we pass it. The word Holach Kaschi. And here the Gemara is going to be matcha that everybody holds Holach Lav Kaschi. New Gemara.
So in this last case, the guy, he said, give this over to so-and-so. And before he got it to him, he died.
The sender, the
The
giver.
sender died. And then, so did the guy, was he Zoche?
So there was no schia because he wasn't a shchib, the giver wasn't a shchibera, and if he's a
He wasn't a
bori,
shchib
the
meira,
lav halach lav kaschidami,
So
But
it
it was
should really
nothing
go back
to
to
him.
his yorship.
his yorshim. But there's a concept called mitzvah l'kaim divrei ames. Since he died, there's a mitzvah to fulfill
Time
his yorshim.
divrei ames. So
And therefore it should be-
divrei ames, we'll give it to the other guy.
As long as he's alive at the time of the wish. But if he already had died, then there's the wish was the one to give it to somebody.
I see. So this one is the sender died and we want to fulfill his wish, so we continue and give it to the guy.
And if he
the
and he
other way
dies,
is
give it his
And
yorshim.
And the other way is we would give it back is because the guy who's supposed to receive it died.
At the time already, he had died already. So when
He had died already. So there was no,
My Chavrusa pointed out that's a big chiddush that a person, he was a bori, and he said, give a present, and then he happened to die. The same mitzvah l'kaim divrei ames, is that called, we think,
was
mitzvah
that
l'kaim,
divrei ames if he was born?
right, we think mitzvah l'kaim divrei ames means that he's giving his last wish or something like that, even though he's not a shchibera, but he's saying that when I die, I'd like this to happen. So then are you going to say mitzvah l'kaim divrei ames means even regularly, everything was fine?
But he was not a stigma.
What?
But he was not a stigma.
It could be. You want to say that there was not a shchibera, but that's what it means. Like, okay, he's saying that he's not a shchibera, but he knew it. He's giving it because he's dying. He's giving it because he's dying, not because if he's going to die.
Make sure that he wants to make sure that he's going up clean.
Okay, but you're clean mean what? Clean? No, it's a present. Yeah, no loan. But you want to say oh, my skin on, but you agree to the concept that you don't say mitzvah l'kaim divrei ames. I don't know.
Which mitzvah?
What's the mitzvah l'kaim divrei ames? Okay.
In the Holocaust, when somebody says to their child that they're sending them off to try to save them, and it's not clear that they're going to die, but they say, be sure to say Shema, and that's the last time they see their kid, then is it nice, do we say that there's divrei hames, because if we find out later that they died, maybe they
He definitely should say Shema. Sometimes they say that
I mean, is that
the Hasava is very strong. It's stronger than the Torah,
stronger than the Torah?
because the father said, so even though the Torah says more than the father, but but he's saying in any case where somebody is giving it because he might die, that's why he's giving instructions. Give this to, let's talk about money.
So here,
Give this heirloom to somebody because he might not see it, might not see it anymore. And I wanted to get
that's
that.
not a shchiv
That's
meirah.
not shchibera, but it's more.
He can
right.
be
He'd be healthy. He'd be healthy at the
He can
time.
be healthy and yet still be.
Right. That's what I'm listening suggesting that it's talking about.
Okay.
Okay, more. I guess I think we can stop here. The rest of it is going to be a bit confused. I guess
We're up to Lema.
up to Lema. Also allowed to go still, but we'll stop it.
Okay, good. If somebody, I have a quick question. Somebody,